Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what I'm about. I hope you know what you about, because we are live right now. It's time. Class is in session. It's Monday. As you can see, the weather is beautiful outside. You're beautiful. I'm beautiful. We all here at the same time. Let's get to it. Let's not waste any time. Time is of the essence. Let's have some urgency about what we're doing right now. Y'all are here live, Work on Your Game University. If you didn't know, you are enrolled. If you didn't know you were enrolled by logging into this live, you are enrolled. Work on Your Game University. Welcome. This is your orientation. As y'all checking in, tell me your name and location in the comment section, then turn the volume up. Whatever device you listen to this on, turn the volume up. Okay, if you need to plug in your charger, turn the volume up. Facebook, y'all watching this, if you're working on Facebook, tell me your name and location in the comment section. Hit that share button as well so somebody else can get this. Adrian from Germany with the first comment. Congratulations. As y'all coming in, tell me your name and location. We're getting started in a minute. Steven checking in from Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. What part of Jersey you in, Steven? Shout out to all of Jersey. Shout out to Williamboro. I know some people out there. Shout out to Camden. Shout out to Jersey City. Shout out to, man, I know a lot of people in Jersey. Shout out to Jersey, man. Fort Wayne, Indiana is in the house. Shout out to Fort Wayne. As y'all checking in, tell me your name and location. I spoke to the Fort Wayne G League team a couple years ago, and I was doing some work with the G League. I think the G League might be mad at me now, though, because I've been trashed them in a couple of my videos. But, hey, we got to keep it real. Brandon from Crestview, Florida. Shout out. Bergen County. Oh, yeah, I heard of Bergen County. Shout out to Bergen County, Jersey. As y'all checking in, tell me name and location, comment section. We're getting started in 30 seconds. We ain't going to waste too much time. We ain't going to use too much time. But we're going to use time for the valuable stuff. We ain't going to use too much time on the shout-outs. I'm going to shout out the people who tell me their name and location before I get into this material. But everybody else is going to have to get in where they fit in. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Where are we now? May the 11th. We almost halfway through the month of May. Can y'all imagine that? 2020. We almost halfway through the year. I hope y'all had goals this year. I hope you wrote your goals down. I hope you've been working on them. But anyway, let's get into it. We ain't gonna wait no more for nobody else. Early is on time. No time is late. Late is forgotten. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. For those who don't know me, I'm a former 9-year professional athlete. I'm author of 26 books. I'm the creator of the Work on Your Game philosophy. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I've done 4 TED Talks. I'm a keynote speaker, coach, consultant, trainer, podcaster, broadcaster. I do a whole lot of things. I ain't even going to list everything that I do, but I have published more content on the internet over the last 15 years than anybody alive. Why does that matter to you? It matters to you because I have mastered delivering to an audience. I have mastered delivering to an audience through the written word, through the spoken word, and I guess you could say video too, but that's also the spoken word. And I created this whole philosophy called Work on Your Game. It's all about taking a pro athlete mindset, the way that you need to be mentally to get into the top 1% of anything you do in life, and how you can apply that mindset to your business, your sport, and your life. One of my books is called Work on Your Game, just in case you were wondering. I know you were wondering now, I answered that question. The topic here today is why do athletes, otherwise promising athletes, I'm talking about athletes who have game, okay? Athletes who can play, they're actually good. Why do they fail to go pro? Why do athletes fail to become professionals in their sport? Now, any athletes who are listening to this right now, you need to listen very closely. You need to do more than listen closely. You need to take notes on everything that I'm saying here today, or turn on the recorder on your phone and just record this whole live, all right? Technically, that's piracy, but go ahead, record this whole live, whatever you got to do. When this is over, go find a little app that lets you download the live and download this whole live when it's done so that you can cross-reference and check yourself for everything I'm talking about here tomorrow, next week, 6 months from now, and 3 years from now. Because everything that I say here today, you are not going to remember it by tomorrow morning. You're going to forget half of it, at least half of it. That's the smartest person that ain't going to forget half of it. The rest of y'all are going to forget all of it. So make sure you're taking notes on what I'm saying here today. The topic again, why do otherwise promising athletes fail to begin professional careers? Now, I can say that I am an expert on this topic simply because not only did I become a professional athlete from what was not so much a promising beginning, but at the same time, I know a whole lot of athletes who had more promising beginnings than me, who had more probably natural skill than me, natural talent than me. They had more practice skill than me because they had been practicing longer than me. They had been at the basketball court longer than I had been. They were better than me, but they did not make it. I know athletes who didn't make it to college, let alone make it to playing in the pros. And there are certain reasons why that happens that has nothing to do with a lack of talent, okay? So that's a topic for a different day. We could talk about talent. I'll talk about it different times. I'll talk about it again. Of course, I talk about it all the time in Work on Your Game University. If you're not enrolled at Work on Your Game University, go to workonyourgameu.com. Get yourself enrolled. I give you your first 2 weeks of school for free. Now, I'm going to talk about all the reasons why athletes fail to become pro that have nothing to do with a lack of talent. If y'all interested in that topic, then again, turn the volume up. Hit the like or the wave. What is it? The hearts or whatever it is that comes up on the side of the screen here. That will let me know that y'all interested in this topic. We're going to get into the topic right now. The topic again, why otherwise promising athletes fail to go pro. Point number 1, no personal initiative. Number 1 reason why athletes fail to go pro, even though they have game, is that they have no personal initiative. Now, you might be wondering, okay, Dre, what the hell does personal initiative have to do with becoming a professional athlete? I'm going to tell you. I could do a whole episode just on this topic alone if I wanted to do it. This includes several things. First of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. When it comes to becoming a professional athlete, if you're not an athlete who is like the yellow brick road athlete, like the LeBron James type of talent type of guy, or what's the other kid? LaMelo Ball. If you're not that type of talent where you're ranked as one of the top athletes in your class, and you got everybody trying to be around you and everybody trying to do something for you and all kinds of opportunities just knocking down your door to the point that you got to choose which opportunity you're going to take because you got so many of them. If you're like that, then this is not for you. Okay, if you're an athlete who's not like that, you're kind of the opposite of that, where you're looking for the opportunity. Like you're looking like Inspector Gadget, trying to find an opportunity because it ain't none knocking at your door. Nobody has you ranked. Nobody's checking you out. Nobody is projecting you to become a star in your sport. If you're that athlete, understand that at some point you're going to need to make investments into your career. Investments into your career means you're going to need to hire maybe a trainer that you might need to pay to go to some kind of event or some place where you can get exposure, that you're going to have to put some money into somehow, some way, getting people to know your name, notice your game, notice what you have going on. That's an investment that you're going to have to make. And if you don't have any personal initiative, then what you would do instead of making those investments, let's talk about monetary investments, you would say, well, I'm just waiting for somebody to discover me. I'm waiting for somebody to find me. I'm waiting for somebody to look me up or some scout to come to my game. I've heard from so many athletes over the years who say things to me like, well, Dre, look, I think I'm a pretty good player, but I'm from a small town and no scouts come to my games. Or I play in this small league, or I'm from this small country and nobody sees me playing in my games. What am I supposed to do in this situation? Well, the first thing that I usually think when an athlete says that is, well, if you would just step your performance up, then maybe some scouts would come to the game. But let's just say that they're right. Maybe they are pretty good. Maybe they are at least good enough to get to the next level. Who knows how long they'll stay, but they're good enough to get there, but they're just not being seen because nobody's coming to their games. What should you do? You should take some initiative to get yourself seen, heard, and known. That's what you should do. Now, how are you going to take that initiative? What initiative you're going to take? All right, that's for you to kind of think about and brainstorm, and you should take ownership of that. Why? Because it's your career. I mean, you're the one who's trying to play, right? You're the one who's trying to go play in college, or you're the one who's trying to play in the pros. If you're not willing to take initiative and at least come up with some ideas for yourself, why would you expect anybody else to take you seriously? Why? Would you take somebody seriously who said they wanted to do something and then they hit a wall and then they just don't do anything? Or they ask somebody, what am I supposed to do? And they don't have any ideas. You ask them, what ideas do you have? I mean, it is your career, right? What ideas you got? And they have none. Would you take that person serious? Would you project that person is actually going somewhere and going to do something? What about the people who want to guarantee? You know, I hear from people all the time, though, being that I work in the overseas basketball space as an author, as a mentor to people, to just letting people know what the real is about what goes on overseas basketball or G League basketball or just professional basketball in general. Sometimes I hear from athletes who say things to me like, well, Dre, you know, is there anything that you have that would guarantee that I'm going to get a job playing basketball overseas? Hell no. If there was a way for somebody to get a guarantee playing basketball overseas, you know how much money they would charge for that guarantee? They charge, you know how much people would pay just to have the opportunity to say that they made it pro in any sport, basketball, whatever. The people be charging you tens of thousands of dollars for it. If it's a guarantee, they charge you tens of thousands of dollars. It's guaranteed. You know that you're absolutely going to get it. Ain't no guarantees in this life, ladies and gentlemen. The only guarantee in life is that you're going to die. The other guarantee is that things are going to change. However things are right now, they're going to change. Next month, there are going to be some changes. 6 months from now, some changes. Next year, changes. 5 years from now, if you live to see that day, there will be changes. And the only other thing guaranteed is that you're going to die. That's it. Nothing else is guaranteed. So any athlete who is not willing to put the time in and put the work in and put the effort in until somebody guarantees them that they got a spot on the roster, or that they're going to make the team, or that they're going to get a scholarship, or that they're going to get signed somewhere. You don't want to do any work until somebody guarantees you that this work is going to produce a result. Well, you're not going to go anywhere. This is the reason why that athlete fails. And this athlete might be good. This is the crazy part. The athlete might be good, but understand the higher the levels that you go in sports, you're going to come up against people who are just as good as you. So wherever you're at right now, if you're better than everybody, the next level, that gap between you and everybody else is going to be a little bit smaller. It might not be a gap. Actually, you might be the one underneath them. Or they might be better than you. Every level you go to, the gap between the most talented and the least talented person gets smaller and smaller. In high school, the gap could be like this. Y'all see those videos with who's the kid in the NBA? Zion Williamson. He playing in high school. He got this little scrawny white kid guarding him who looks like somebody's 12-year-old brother, and Zion's just dunking on the guy. The gap was like this, right? Then he went to college. The gap was like this. He was still one of the most talented guys. The gap was like this. Now he's in the league. All right, the gap is like that. All right, actually, there's people in the league better than him, more talented than him. So the gap changed. And this is what happens at every level that you go to. Specifically, we're talking about sports here. There will always be people who are just as talented or more talented than you at the next level if they aren't already existing at the level that you're at. So if you need a guarantee, you need somebody to say, well, look, if I'm hire this trainer, I heard Tim Grover, who's the guy who wrote Relentless, Michael Jordan's old trainer, Kobe's trainer, Dwayne Wade's trainer. He talked about this. I'm not sure he said it in his book, Relentless, but I heard him say it somewhere because I've read a couple of his things and I've seen some of his interviews. He talks about, look, he runs a training facility in Chicago because that's where he was from that area, and that's where he was working with Jordan. And he would tell NBA players, because he worked with a bunch of NBA guys, he just only name drops the biggest name guys, but he's worked with a bunch. And he says, sometimes I talk to a player and I tell the player, look, this is how much it costs to work with me, and you got to come to Chicago. You got to spend the whole offseason in Chicago because this is where my facility's at. I'm not coming to you and rebound for you and take Instagram videos. No, we ain't doing none of that. You come to my facility, you pay me this much money, you stay here for the whole summer, and we're going to work on your game and get you where you need to be. And there's a couple of things that keep players from showing up, according to what I read in between the lines of what Tim was saying. Number one, he probably charges more than any other trainer out there. Number two, his workouts and the way that he trains athletes is harder and tougher than what any other trainer out there is doing. He said it himself. He said, look, my training is going to be harder on you than anything that you have ever done. No trainer is going to work you harder than I'm working you. But I guarantee you when you get done working with me, if you do what the hell I tell you to do, you're going to be in your best possible shape. And, proof positive. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Now, granted, both of those guys were great. They probably would have been great with any trainer, but they did work with Tim Grover. So we can't take that away from him. Dwayne Wade. Now, Dwayne Wade started to break down the last few years of his career. But the two best years of Dwayne Wade's career, 2009 and 2010, Dwayne Wade was working with Tim Grover. And when Dwayne Wade started breaking down, after that, when the Heat started winning the championships and Dwayne Wade started getting injured and stuff, guess what? He wasn't working with Tim Grover anymore. I don't know why. If I ever meet Tim, I'm going to ask him, why Dwayne Wade stopped training with you? Or at least why you think. And if I ever meet Dwayne Wade, I'm going to ask him the same question. Why you start working with Tim Grover? You was doing great when you was working with him. You stopped working when you started getting injured. Why? And it might have been what Tim explained. People just don't want to do the work. Everybody don't want to do the work. Everybody doesn't want to make the investment without the guarantee that they're going to get a return on the investment. You understand? So if I tell a player, look, player comes to me and say, Dre, I tried out for the college team as a walk-on my freshman year. I didn't make it, but I want to make it my sophomore year. What am I supposed to do? And I said to them, all right, look, you got to pay me this much, and it's 3 times more than any other trainer charges. You got to come to where I'm at, and we're going to work out 3 hours a day, every day, all summer, and that's it. That's my offer. Is either yes or no. We're not modifying the offer at all. Yes or no. They say, well, if I do that, are you guaranteeing me that I'm going to make the team in college? No, I ain't guaranteeing you nothing. I'm guaranteeing you is that I'm going to put you through the work, and I'm going to give you everything that you need to be the best possible player that you are. Now, what you do when you get on that court, I can't control. Now, if you show up to tryouts drunk, or you ain't get enough sleep, or no, you didn't keep working on your game at the end of the summer when you went off to school, that ain't my responsibility. But I will put you in position to do everything you need to do. You in or you out. Now, a lot of people in life don't want to make that investment unless they are guaranteed a result. What I want you all to understand, I'm talking about athletes here, but this applies to anyone in life. If you are not willing to make the investment until or unless somebody guarantees you an outcome, the only thing you will guarantee yourself is death, because that's the only outcome I could possibly guarantee you is that you're going to die. All right, if you want anything other than that, then you're setting yourself up to fail because you'll never do anything. My inbox over the years, my email inbox is full of athletes asking me, if I could, promise them that something's going to happen or do something for them that they need to be doing for themselves, asking me some stupid question that they can find out with 2 seconds on Google, they're not willing to take initiative. This is what we're talking about here. Point number 1 is being willing to take initiative. I'm talking about guarantees because a lot of people won't take initiative unless they have a guarantee. But the problem is nothing in life is guaranteed. So therefore, they have a built-in reason to never take initiative. And this is why most people never do anything, even though they have talent. Point number 2. Today's topic is why otherwise promising athletes fail to make it pro. Point number 2, no discipline. No discipline whatsoever. This is another reason why athletes fail. And any of you familiar with the work on your game framework, which is my overarching philosophy, the framework. The 4th principle is personal initiative. Talked about it in the first point. The first principle is discipline. What I'm talking about here, point number 2, the discipline to show up every single day and do the work. But I want you all to understand, I talk about this every day when I talk about this book, and I say that being a professional basketball player or any professional athlete, or let's just say basketball, is the best job you could possibly have in life because you're only working 2 at the most 4 hours. On a long day, you're working 4 hours. Average person at work at Target or an entrepreneur, how many hours you working? 8, 10, 15 hours a day? Basketball players working 2 to 4 hours a day. That's it. Now, how could a basketball player not have discipline? All you got to do is play basketball 2 to 4 hours a day. You don't always feel like it, like I've said before. For example, let's say an athlete's in high school or college, really good basketball player, and fails. Why? They don't want to go to class. They don't have the discipline to go to school and take care of the classroom, which is the very thing that allows them to get on the court and do their thing sports-wise. I can't tell you how many. I would need more than 2 hands to count all the athletes that I have known personally who had enough game to be professional players who never made it pro because they couldn't even make it through college. And the reason they didn't make it through college is not because they sucked on the court. It's not because they got injured. It's because they didn't go to class often enough just to stay eligible to get on the court and do their thing on the basketball court. Trust me, I got too many stories of players like that. I want y'all to understand something. All you athletes, especially those of you who are amateur athletes, college level, or on your way to college level maybe, school and being a student athlete in the United States, because I hear from a lot of athletes that I hear from who are from outside of USA are asking me about how can they come over here and play college basketball in the USA. So everybody, at least to this point, we know the G League is trying to work on it, and you got Australia and some overseas. But those are usually for the elite of the elite prospects. For the average basketball player, I'm talking guys who you're not in the top 50 or top 100, but you still want to play and you got a chance to go pro, which is very possible. You don't have the G League offering you $500,000. You don't have Australia offering you $1 million. You got to go play college basketball. And you might just want to play ball. That's all you want to do. You just want to play ball. You ain't trying to do all that school stuff and all that class stuff. Understand something. All right, you got to think like a hustler. When I was in school, when I was 16 years old, that was my junior year of high school. That's the point that I realized this is what I want to do. I want to play sports for a living. I want to play basketball for a living. I knew that's what I wanted to do. If I could have joined some kind of basketball academy where all I did was play basketball and that was my full-time job from age 16 on until I was ready for the pros, I would have gladly taken that opportunity. My parents probably wouldn't have let me do it, but if I could have, if that was set up for me to do it, I would have did it. Thing is, that does not exist, at least as we know it, and if it does, it's not a widespread thing that anybody can just do. For the most part, for athletes, amateur athletes in the United States, if you want to play professional sports, you got to go to school, at least for now. Again, 5 years from now, it might be different. But for now, you got to go to school and you got to do the school thing. In high school, you got to pass. Most of y'all can pass high school, all right? If you got just basic common sense and you know how to read and write, you could pass high school you could just go by, coast by, get through high school. College is a little bit different. College is a little bit more work. In college, you got to do some actual work. In college, you got to study. You got to maybe join a study group. You got to go to study hall. You got to do presentations, and there are projects and things like that. College could be a little bit harder. Trust me, I know. I took the same math class in college 4 times straight. Not because I'm bad at math, because I just didn't want to be disciplined enough to do the work. And this is the thing that stops a whole lot of athletes. Because they're saying, I hear athletes say to me, Dre, I just want to play ball. I don't want to do this school thing. This is what I want y'all to understand. When I say think like a hustler. The hustle, if you want to be a professional basketball player or a football player, and we'll stick to those 2 sports, because that's where I see a lot of young African Americans who just want to play a sport and they don't want to deal with school. I'm not here to sell you on school. All right. If you don't want to do school, fine. All right, do you. But let me explain this to you. If you mess up in the classroom, it will destroy your opportunity on that field or on that court. So thinking like a hustler means you understanding that I got to do my hustle in the classroom just so I can do my thing on that field. This is the mindset that you need to have, okay? I'm not telling you that you need an education. I'm not telling you need a degree to fall back on. I'm not telling you it's good to just finish school because your grandma wants you to. I'm not selling you on none of that. All right, you want to play in the NFL or the NBA? Cool. Let me tell you how it's done. Take yourself to class, pass the classes, go to study hall, get a C. As they say, C's get degrees. Okay, you ain't got to be an A+ student. You ain't got to make the dean's list. You ain't got to even be good. All you got to do is be an average student, a C. That's what this is. This is a C, okay? C's get degrees. I got a degree with a C average. My GPA in college was like 2 point something. I don't know. All I know is 2 point something means a C. All right, that's what I had, 2 point something. C's get degrees, people. All you got to do is go to class. You got to show up in class, do the projects, get in a group. If they have a group project, get in a group with somebody smart. All right, get in a group with somebody who's way smarter than you, who's going to carry your weight and do more of the work. All right, hustle. All right, that's what I'm telling you. Be a hustler. A hustler understands that, yo, I might not like this part of the game, but I got to deal with this part of the game so I can get to this part of the game that I like. That's the way a hustler thinks. And let me tell you the way an idiot thinks. An idiot says, I want to do this thing, so I'm going to just ignore everything else and just do this thing. Now, the reason why that's an idiot's way of thinking, because an idiot is smart enough, and this is what makes them an idiot. They're smart enough to understand that that's not going to work, but then they do it anyway. All right, and as I explained to y'all many times, ignorance means not to know what's going on. You don't know what's going on, you're ignorant, okay? If you were to drop me in NASA headquarters and tell me to program a space shuttle launch, I'm ignorant. I have no idea what's going on. Now, the difference between ignorance, the other thing is stupid. Stupid means you know what's going on, and then you do something dumb anyway. All right, now you might do something dumb if you're ignorant because you don't have the information. But if you have the information and you do something dumb, then you become stupid. And there are a lot of stupid athletes. And I'm not saying athletes in general are stupid. I'm an athlete myself, so I wouldn't say that. But there are a lot of stupid athletes that I've come across, and I'm qualified to say this because I have met them and I've seen them, and because they know better. They understand what the hustle's supposed to be, but then they do the wrong thing. So I want to make sure none of y'all make this mistake, because I promise you this. If every athlete understood the hustle that I just explained to you and did what they were supposed to do in that classroom so they could get on that court, listen, the way college sports is set up right now wouldn't be the way that it is, because a whole lot of athletes playing D3 wouldn't even get on the team because all the athletes would be cascading down. There's a whole bunch of athletes with D1 talent that ain't playing ball nowhere right now because they couldn't do the school thing. Therefore, there are some lesser players who get to play D1. And then D2 moves up, and then D3 moves up. If every athlete did what they're supposed to do, I would not have been able to write this book because I would have never made it overseas, because I wouldn't even got a chance to play in college, because D3 would be such a high level because all the players who were supposed to do what they were supposed to do would have been playing college basketball. There's enough idiots that cleared enough space for somebody like me, a walk-on who only played 1 year of high school basketball, had a chance. And then I was able to work my way up. So what I want to make sure doesn't happen to you is that you blow your opportunity because you don't understand what the hustle is. Okay? So you might not like, for example, when I got out of college, my first year out of college, I worked regular jobs. I didn't even have a gig overseas. Anybody got a question, I'm going to answer them at the end. I didn't even have a job overseas. I worked at Foot Locker for 6 months. Then I worked at Bally Total Fitness for 6 months. Bally's out of business, but y'all know Bally Total Fitness, the gym. I didn't love either of those jobs. I wasn't excited about going to work. I wasn't like happy talking to my boss. You imagine standing in the middle of a mall on like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, and ain't nothing going on. There's a whole bunch of old white people in sweatsuits walking around, and you standing there with a referee shirt on, wondering what the hell you're doing with your life. That's what I was doing a year after graduating from college. But understand this. I understood this is the hustle. The hustle is I need to go to this job, let me stack my little bit of check that I get, save up my money so I could go to this exposure camp next summer, work on my game on my days off at LA Fitness, so have me a little membership, and then I'm going to get on where I want to go. I understood that was the hustle. Now, if I had instead said, you know what, man, I didn't get my chance to play ball, and I just went and stood on the corner somewhere and started smoking weed and just hanging with people doing nothing, where would I have ended up? I'd have been another cautionary tale, some old head, 45 years old, talking to the 16-year-olds like, yeah, man, don't mess up like I did. I was good enough to play overseas too. And the little kids looking at you, rolling their eyes like, man, you wasn't never about to do nothing, because you ain't never do nothing. Don't be the person who blows your opportunity because you don't understand the hustle. I'm giving y'all the game right now. Please pay attention. That's why I told you I'll take notes on everything that I'm saying here today. Another reason that people blow it for lack of discipline, I'm still on the second point here. Lack of discipline causes athletes to miss out on their careers is that they have no personal accountability for their own results or lack of results. Now, if you're an athlete and you're not getting better year over year, I get athletes who come to me and say this. They say, Dre, I went to the park every day for 8 hours a day for 6 months straight and I didn't get better. I don't know what the problem is. The problem is you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's the problem. How you at the court 8 hours a day and not get any better? That's impossible. Actually, it's not impossible. It's possible because you don't know what you're doing. So why don't you go get a trainer and let them teach you, and they could get you better in an hour a day and what you couldn't do in 8 hours a day simply because they have the information that you don't have. Do you have the discipline to understand, okay, maybe I'm just ignorant on this subject. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So you need to go get the information from the right person. Maybe you need to go buy a program. Maybe you need to sign up for somebody's membership. Maybe you need to go hire a trainer. Maybe you need to go find the best player in your neighborhood and say, yo, when you go to work out, I want to work out with you. I'll rebound for you if you just teach me something every day. Do something to take accountability for your results or your lack of results. If you mess up, own the fact that you messed up. Say, you know what? This is messed up because I messed up. Period. Not I messed up because, not I messed up but, not I messed up and, no, I messed up, period. That's taking personal accountability for the mistakes that you made. If you made a mistake, own it. Don't put anything on anybody else. Don't deflect the blame and say, oh, that person has something to do with it too, and my mom did this and my coach. No. Own it 100% when you make mistakes. A lot of people don't want to own their mistakes in life. They never take full ownership of anything. If you don't take full ownership, that means you don't have full responsibility. If you don't have full responsibility, that means you do not have the full ability to respond, which means you cannot control a situation. If you don't have full responsibility over a situation, you cannot control a situation. If you want to have full responsibility over your life, or if you want to control your life, you have to have responsibility over your life, which means anything in your life that's messed up or not working or going the wrong direction is your fault. You own it. I know somebody else said something. I know they did something. I know this person didn't show up. I know somebody over there did you wrong. You still got to own it. Because any part of it that you don't own, you can't control. You can't control something that you don't own. Everybody follow me? You can't control a car that you ain't driving. Okay? You want to drive the car, or if you want to control the car, you got to drive the car. You got to get in the driver's seat, and whatever happens, happens. More athletes, this is another part of discipline. I could do a whole episode just on this discipline part alone. A lot of athletes are more interested in the trappings of success than the actual work required to reach success. What does that mean? Now, specifically, I'm talking to the young men right now. The trappings of success. What happens when you become a known athlete on a college campus? Girls going to be interested in you. You're going to get invited to parties. People going to want you to drink. People going to want you to smoke. People going to want you to hang out. You might, start neglecting the things that got you where you are, such as going to class, knowing that's the hustle, working on your game, knowing that's part of the hustle. Drinking too much could slow your game down because alcohol is poison, is a drug. Alcohol doesn't make your body better. We can all agree to that. I'm not telling you it's wrong, but it ain't making you better. You're taking in things you ain't supposed to be taking in. If you're an athlete, you ain't allowed to take any kind of drugs. You ain't allowed to smoke weed. You take a piss test, you playing in the NCAA, and you test positive for weed, all right, you ain't playing. You ain't playing in the next game. Now, is that what you want? All right, do it more than once. You're going to be on last chance you at some community college in Kansas when you used to have a full ride scholarship to Alabama. Do you want to be that? Or you want to be that cautionary tale talking about who you used to be and what you're about to do? This is what happens to a whole lot of people. Females, partying, money, showing off for whoever they want to impress. All of these things are the trappings of success. When I say trappings, that means the stuff that comes with achievement. The stuff that comes with achievement is you can look good, you can feel good, people are interested in you, everybody want to hang with you, you're that dude wherever you go. Understand that the only reason all of those things exist is because you did the work. Tim Grover talked about that in his book. He said people start celebrating as if they already made it. Like, yo, the thing that you made it to was the opportunity to get to the next level. All right, you got drafted to the league. Okay, now you got to stay in the league. You got a scholarship to play in college. Cool. Now you got to earn some playing time in college. All right, just because you signed a contract doesn't mean the work is over. That means the work just started. Now you got to start actually working. Now you got a full-time job. Now what you going to do? That's all under the umbrella of discipline. I could talk about that all day, but let's move on to point number 3. The topic here today, for those who came in the middle of this, is why otherwise promising athletes fail to make it as professionals. Number 3, failure to improve, failure to progress. meaning you are not getting any better. You are not working on your game. Your game's not getting any better. You're the same player now that you were a year ago. Why? Is it because you're not working? Is it because you're working but you don't know what you're doing? Is it because you're BSing through your work? What's the reason? Why are you not getting any better? If you do anything on a consistent basis, year over year, you should be better at it than you should be better now than you were last year. When I do these lives, I'm better now than I was last year. And I'll be better in 2021 than I am in 2020. If I write a book this year, the next book I write is going to be better. And the one after that is going to be better. And the one after that is going to be better. Why? Because I'm improving. Every time I'm improving my process. But improvement is a strategy. It's not something that just randomly happens. Okay? You got to put some effort and some thought behind how you are improving. Failure to improve causes a lot of people to stagnate and come up short. I'll see a player, like I said, a year later and the game is just they're exactly the same. They just got a year older. They didn't get anything better. Once you understand something about the pros, ladies and gentlemen, not only is everybody good, everybody's talented, everybody's experienced, everybody can run and jump and all that. But here's the other thing. Every single year in the NBA, in June, they have this thing. They call it the draft. Y'all heard of the NBA draft? Just a couple weeks ago, they had the draft in the NFL. You heard of the NFL draft? All right, how many rounds is the NFL draft? 7 rounds. And how many teams? 30-something teams? I don't know how many teams in the NFL. However many it is. 32, whatever. That's 200 plus players. Every year, 200 new dudes with talent are coming into the NFL. That's 200 new players coming into the NFL. That's not counting all the undrafted rookies who are going to sign as free agents to come to training camp. They trying to get in. Let's say there's another 200 of them. So let's just say 400 new players coming to the NFL every year. And those guys are new. They haven't proven themselves yet, and they're young. When teams look at that as potential, right? That's why teams like young players in professional sports, because they're like, this guy has potential. He can grow. He can get better. So if 400 new players are coming to the NFL every year, right? And the NFL didn't add a whole bunch of new teams, that means 400 people who had a job last year ain't going to have a job this year. I'm letting that sink in. In the NBA, they have a draft every year, right? 60 players get drafted, 30 teams, 2 rounds, 60 draft picks in the NBA every year. 30 of them got a guaranteed contract, and a bunch of others got some kind of contract, right, with partial guarantees. Then let's take a bunch of rookie, undrafted free agents come in. Let's say there's another 60 of them. So let's just say 120 new players. Every year in the NBA, 120 people who had a job last year ain't going to have a job this year. Either they retired, a few people going to retire, but a bunch of people just going to get pushed out. A bunch of people just ain't going to have a job because they just got beat out for their job by some young dude. You might be 30. They brought in some new dude who's 21. All right, y'all about the same in skill, but he has more potential because he's 21 and you 30. All right, you're out and we keeping him. You might even be a little bit better than him, but he got potential to become better than you because he got 10 years ahead of him. You don't. All right, you out, he's in. Now you lost your job. Why? Maybe because maybe just natural selection, but it might be because you're not getting any better. Athletes, I want y'all to understand something. What worked for you at your previous level will not work at the next level. What worked for you to be good in high school is not going to work when you get to college. And what worked for you in college is not going to work when you get to the pros. And what worked for you at one level is not going to work for you at the next level. You must continually improve and update your product. All y'all got a smartphone, right? Any of y'all got an Apple phone, iPhone, MacBook, tablet. Every couple months, you get a notification on this phone. What does it say? It says there is a new version of iOS available. Push this button to update your software. What is that telling you? That's telling you that Apple is always working on their product and making it better. Every few months or every year or however often they do it, they're releasing an update. Listen, we made it better. We made the phone better. We made the operating better. The battery's going to last longer. The brightness is going to be better. All those bugs and things that weren't working, they're going to work now. They are always updating their software. My question is for you, how often are you updating your software? How often are you getting smarter? How often are you gaining experience? How often are you working on your body? Are you bigger, faster, stronger, better? You react faster? You recover quicker? What are you doing better today than what you were doing last year? And if you can't answer that question, you are on your way out. You might not know it, but everybody else does. You are on your way out. Somebody is fixing to take your spot. If you are not getting better, the new bright, shiny object, that newer, younger player, whoever it is, they're going to get chosen over you, even if you're better than them, because they at least got the potential to keep getting better. And you, obviously, Don't, because you ain't gotten any better. Over the last 3 years, you ain't got no better. Okay, why would we think you're going to get better in the fourth year? You ain't get better the first 3. Forget he's out. Let's bring this new guy in. He's younger. Maybe he'll get better. All right, you cannot afford to stagnate at the professional level and maybe not even at the collegiate level, because every year is new players coming in. If you ain't ready to go, when I was in college, I remember the coach came in my senior year. The coach came in, and he had brought, he came my junior year, but he brought all these recruits my senior year. He recruited so many players my senior year that if everybody he recruited made the team, it would have been like 20 people on the basketball team. He over-recruited. So basically, he recruited with the plan of some of the guys I recruit ain't even going to make the basketball team. That's exactly what happened. Some of the players he recruited didn't even play on the team, and he recruited them. Why? Everybody can't make it. I want y'all to understand it's a cold world out here. It's rough out here. And if you ain't ready to go and you ain't getting better, somebody will gladly take your spot. And they already getting ready to take your spot. You the only one that don't know it. You don't need to know it. Point number 4. Today's topic is why athletes, otherwise promising athletes, fail to become pros. This is the last one. Listening to the peanut gallery. Excuse me. Who is the peanut gallery? I'll give you a simple definition. Peanut gallery is everybody who is not on the inside talking about what's going on. Anybody who's not on the team or who has never done the thing that you're doing, trying to tell you where you're at and what you can do and what you're capable of and where you belong, they are the peanut gallery. Now, if you play college ball or pro ball and your dad ain't on the team and he ain't never played ball nowhere, even if he did, if he ain't playing now and he ain't on the team and he ain't no coach and he trying to tell you what's going on and what you should be doing and how much you should be getting the ball, your dad is in the peanut gallery. All right, he needs to be quiet. Now, you might not say that to your dad, but you need to stop listening to him, okay? That's the peanut gallery. Anybody who ain't in doing it, trying to tell you what you should be doing. Somebody on Instagram or YouTube watching you do a dribbling drill, talking about you good enough to play overseas because you did a dribbling video. Listen, that's the peanut gallery. They don't know what they're talking about. Have they ever been overseas? Have they played overseas? Are they a scout? They ever signed somebody to a contract? Have they ever signed a contract themselves? If you answer no to all them questions, they are the peanut gallery. They don't know what they're talking about. Do not allow the peanut gallery to gas you up and have you thinking that you are something that you're not. Don't allow the peanut gallery to tell you that you belong in a certain place that you have not earned your spot in. Don't allow the peanut gallery to get you thinking that you deserve something that you have not earned through your performance. And the peanut gallery brings a whole lot of people down because they are listening to these people simply because the peanut gallery usually tells you what you want to hear. Your personal peanut gallery are your friends, your Instagram followers, your YouTube subscribers, your family members, your girlfriend, some bum dude, has-been dude at the rec around the corner telling you how good you are and how you good enough to play in the NBA and how you should at least have a deal overseas because you scored 25 in some rec league with referees, and now you think you all that, and the peanut gallery has gassed you up. They have properly gassed you to think that you're something that you have not proven anywhere that matters. If you have not proven your game somewhere that matters, in front of some people who matter, against somebody who matters, then what you think and what the peanut gallery told you do not matter. Anybody heard what I just said? Listen, somebody who works at Taco Bell is not qualified to tell you that you deserve to have a job overseas. All right, somebody who you play in a rec league is a rec league in Miami where a dude walks up and down the court with a microphone hyping up every move like the N1 mixtape. He trying to keep the N1 mixtape alive from 20 years ago. Listen, just because that dude gave you a nickname does not mean you deserve to be playing in the Euro League. No. All right, that dude ain't never been to the Euro League. Okay? All right, you need to make sure you are not allowing the peanut gallery to tell you something that they don't even know what they're talking about. Do not believe the hype from people who are telling you that you deserve. Listen, the people who really know what they're talking about, they ain't got to hype you up. They're going to tell you the truth. I told y'all the stories of me dealing with agent. I told you how an agent told me. I went to a practice with a team. He watched it. He was like, yo, your performance wasn't that great. I thought I did good. He was like, your performance wasn't that great. You got to score easy. You got to make it look easy. And I was like, all right. But he told me the truth. He wasn't gassing me up. He wasn't trying to hype me and tell me, yo, damn, Dre, you should be playing for the Miami Heat. Forget overseas. No. People who are real pros and know what they're talking about, they're going to tell you the straight up truth. They're going to tell you the truth about what you need to do better. They're going to tell you the truth about what your potential is. They're going to tell you the truth about where you're going to go and how you can get there and what they can do to help and what they can't do to help. If you're talking to somebody and everything they're telling you is just something that you want to hear, that's making you feel like you are the next Jordan, the next Kevin Durant, the next Chris Paul, all right, you're listening to the peanut gallery. Don't allow the peanut gallery to bring you down, because the peanut gallery, here's the problem with the peanut gallery. They start telling you how great you are, and you start believing it, and then you stop working as hard as you were working before. You stop putting the time in. You stop putting the effort in that you were putting in before, because the peanut gallery has convinced you that you are actually better than you are. So now you're like, oh, I don't need to work out anymore. I'm good. I already got everything covered. I'm as good as I need to be. I don't need to get any better. They need to come recognize me. I've been put in this. Somebody need to come recognize me. Somebody need to come see me. I need to be exposed. Somebody need to sign me. Somebody need to offer me a scholarship. I'm already good. But the people on my block tell me every day how good I am. When you allow the peanut gallery to gas you up, you're going to stop putting in that work. You lose your humility. And the thing about being humble, I don't even use that phrase too often, because I think people overuse it and they use it incorrectly. To be a professional athlete, you have to be humble enough to do the work that earns you the right to be cocky. I'm going to say that one more time, just in case you didn't hear me. To be a professional athlete, you have to be humble enough to do the work that earns you the right to be cocky. So a professional athlete can be cocky, but you got to earn your cockiness by doing the work. You got to be humble enough to get out of bed every day and say, you know what? I need to work on my game. I need to get better. I need to improve. And if you're doing that every day, then you got the right to say, you got the right to be cocky. You got the right to be confident. You got the right to walk around with your head up and be like, yeah, I'm about to drop 30 on these dudes in this game. I remember I was watching this game back in the day. The dude, Austin Rivers, Doc Rivers' son. Austin Rivers was playing in high school. I think this is when he was in high school. This is video like Ball His Life or whatever it was. And he was tying up his sneakers on the bench before the game, and the camera was on him. And Austin Rivers looked up at the camera. And he was like, yo, my name's Austin Rivers, and I'm about to score 40 in this game. And he said it just like that. He's like, I will score 40 in this game. And then he went and scored like 45. Now, people might have said, yo, Austin Rivers is kind of cocky. He think he's this, he think he's that. But listen, if you can back it up, you got the right to be cocky. Now, Austin Rivers was blessed with some God-given talent. His dad was an NBA player, and he had the size and this and that. But he also put some work in on his game. He had enough game to know he was going to go out there and do it, and he did it. I couldn't say nothing. I said, hey, he proved it. I can't say nothing about that man. He delivered. And this leads to athletes, again, all the time, not listening. This is another thing that happens when we start listening to the peanut gallery too much. You stop listening to the people who are keeping it real with you. Because, see, if you got a whole lot of peanut gallery individuals around you telling you how great you are, if somebody comes around and tries to tell you that you're not that great, that you need to work on your game, that you need to kind of humble yourself and get back on that field and get back in that gym and work on your game some more, you don't want to hear it, because you got 15 people around you every day telling you that you don't need to work on your game anymore. Now you're believing them more you're believing the person who's going to tell you the truth. But the person who's going to tell you the truth is the person who will get you to the next level. These people are going to keep you where you at. Because guess what? They ain't never been to where you need to go. They don't know nothing about that. So that's why they think they're giving you good advice, but they're actually not. They think they're helping you, but they're actually making you worse. That's why you have to have the discipline to know who to listen to and who not to listen to. Who to listen to is not necessarily the person who's telling you everything that you want to hear. It's telling you the things that you need to hear. That's why you must have your own personal discipline at such a level that when somebody tells you something or how great you are, you can discern, all right, is this person really helping me, or is this person just trying to gas me up because they're trying to be my friend or they want to be in my circle? And if somebody tells you that you're not that great, are they saying it because they're a hater, because they're negative, because they're a loser, or are they telling you that because you actually need to get better and you need to work on your game? You got to be smart enough to know the difference between the two. And if you make the wrong decision between which is which in either of those cases, you will precipitate your own personal failure. And it's not going to be anybody's fault but yours because of your lack of sound judgment. And I did a whole masterclass on judgment at Work on Your Game University. So if you want to get that masterclass on developing your skill of discernment and personal judgment, workonyourgameuniversity.com. I will help you out with that. Now, I'm going to tell you about these free books I got in front of me, and I'm going to answer every question, and that's going to be that. So now, actually, let me recap these points. Why otherwise promising athletes fail to begin professional athletic careers? Number one, no personal initiative. You don't do anything to help yourself. You're waiting for it to come to you instead of you going to it. Number two, no discipline. This I could do a whole class on. People not going to class, not practicing enough, no personal accountability, more interested in the trappings of success than actually earning success. Number three, failure to improve consistently. This is connected to your discipline. In life, every year, there's a new wave of people coming in trying to take your spot. If you are not continually getting better, updating your software like the iPhone, then you will lose your job because everybody else is improving and you're not. Number four, listen to the peanut gallery. Your friends, your family, your neighborhood, neighborhood lackeys who don't know nothing about where you're trying to go, trying to tell you how great you are. They don't know what they're talking about. You got to be smart enough to know who is gassing you up and who's actually trying to help you. Make a bad decision, it can cost you your whole career. Now, let me tell you about these 2 books in front of me. Both of these books are free. I already paid for these books. All you do is take care of the shipping. Let me tell you about it. Number 1, The Mirror of Motivation. I wrote this book so you can light that fire inside of yourself, find that spark that already exists within you. You got to find that spark again in your soul, light that spark up so you can start being who you truly need to be as a person, who you truly want to be as a person, do what you really need to do with a different type of energy, a different spirit, and you will get different results. Guaranteed, just because you change your energy. Change your energy, do the same thing you were doing before, you will get a different result. This book will help you do that. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. Just talked about discipline. It's the first principle to work on your game philosophy. If you want to live a life that's different from most of these average people out here, living by just drifting by wherever the wind blows, no real purpose, no real decision about what they're doing in their life, get this book by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is paid for. You take care of the shipping. Mirrorofmotivation.com. This book right here, Overseas Basketball Blueprint. I wrote this book specifically for one type of person who wants to play professional basketball overseas. That is the only person this book is for. If you want to play ball overseas, this is the blueprint. All right, you see the color, you see the airplane, you see the basketball, the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. It's a 237-page book. Even if you came from a small school, even if you didn't play in school, even if you've always been overlooked, even if you've always been overshadowed, even if you've been counted out your whole career, even if everybody's telling you to give it up because you'll never make it in basketball, this book will give you the blueprint of exactly what you need to know and exactly what you need to do to play professional basketball overseas and get paid to be a professional basketball player. If there's a better job in the world than this, I do not know what it is. This is the best job you could possibly have. I played professional basketball. I don't play anymore. The job I had as an athlete was better than the job I got now as an entrepreneur. I would say that 100% honesty. That don't mean I don't like entrepreneurship. Basketball was funner because it was less work. Overseas Basketball Blueprint, balloverseas.com. Balloverseas.com. You will get this book free, 237 pages. You take care of the shipping. I'll pay for the book. Balloverseas.com. Now, let me see what questions we got in the comment section. Anybody got a question? Keep it short. Make sure it's good. Post it in the comment section right now. We got like 10 minutes for me to answer questions. C-Lord G1 was good. I'm just taking questions right now. Brandon Joseph says, do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. That's right. Put the work in. He Got Game says, reminds me of season 2 of Making the Band when Diddy had the rap group. None of them wanted to grind. They wanted to be lazy and record when they felt like it. They didn't have any hustle. Yeah, I remember that. I heard they doing Making the Band again. So I guess it's coming out again so they could sign those bad contracts with MTV and Bad Boy taking a cut. That ain't too great of a contract they got to sign. But you gotta get in the door however you get in the door. I ain't mad at them. I would do it too if I was trying to get on. C3 Legacy B3, what's going on? Life of Corvette was good. Money May says, would you categorize one-dimensional motivational speakers as in the peanut gallery? No, when I say the peanut gallery, I'm talking about people that you actually know. I'm not talking about random people. I'm talking about people who know you or are looking at you and telling you that you're great when they are not qualified to even know what great looks like. So people who actually know who you are, not just somebody just putting out a message. He Got Game says, Lenny Cook's prime example of ball players that listen to the peanut gallery. From what I hear, I think you may be right. Actually, he probably has said it himself. I know there's some docuseries that profile Lenny. I think he kind of said that himself, that he was kind of listening to too many people and not really staying focused, and that messed up his career, even though he was a very talented player. Ego Hano Daly says, can only Americans play overseas? No, people from overseas play overseas. Savage Fitness says, how far ahead do you plan ahead on topics for live streaming? I come up with the topics the same day that I record it. I'm an expert at this, as I told you at the top. I'm a professional at this. Do not try this at home. I'm a trained professional. Steven from Jersey says, how did your career end? It ended because I stopped playing. I decided to stop playing. That was 2015. I stopped playing. I was 33. I could have kept playing. I'm 38 now. I could have kept playing basketball. I could still be playing right now. I just decided I wanted to move on and do other things. Entrepreneurship was an open door for me, and there was an opportunity for me at that time, so I jumped into it, and that's how I got into it. I was already an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur in 2010 when I started selling products because my career was too up and down. It was too hard to know when I was going to have a job. So I started creating products and services so I could make money and still do basketball at the same time. So I started doing that in 2010. So from 2010 to 2015, I was doing both at the same time, but I already had my next career laid out because I was already an entrepreneur. So I knew as soon as I decided to stop hooping, I could just be a full-time entrepreneur. I already had the foundation in place. So in 2015, when I stopped playing ball, I just went straight into entrepreneurship. There was no period of like, what do I do with my life? I already knew exactly what I was going to do. So it just worked out that way. But if my basketball career had been more steady, I probably would not be as deep into entrepreneurship now as I am, because I wouldn't have had that foundation already in place. I would have just focused on basketball 100%, but I couldn't because I couldn't always get a job. So that was just the reality of what I was in. But if I had a more smooth career, then all this wouldn't have happened. So as they say, things happen as they're supposed to. Russ Dolabani. I don't know how I'm messing up your name, Russ. But he says, how do you get noticed by college coaches if you're not a top player? Well, go play somewhere where the top players are at and prove that you can perform at their level. That's one way. Go to where they're at. So wherever the top players play at, you know the coach is going to be there because they're watching them. Now you could go and steal a little bit of their limelight and show that you could do something. Another way you can do it is you could just walk on. If you go to college, or are you already in college, or are you about to go to college? What's your situation, Russ? If you give me some more information, I can give you a better answer. Quinn O'Brien says, did you go to camps when trying to play college ball? No, not college ball. I went to camps trying to play overseas ball, but college ball, I went to school and I had good enough academics that I was going to get into college no matter what. So I was going to go to college. Even if I didn't play ball, I would have went to college because I just wanted to get the experience and the maturity and whatever I was going to learn in school. Who knows? I didn't know. But I didn't go to any camps to try to get recruited or nothing like that. I just walked on. Whatever. I knew that I wasn't going to get a scholarship because I didn't have any crazy stats in high school. So all I knew was whatever college I went to, I was just going to walk on and try out for the basketball team. Whatever school I went to, I was going to try out. So and that's what I did. I went to school and I tried out and I made the team, and the rest is history, as they say. Ego says, thanks. I never really heard of Europeans getting paid overseas. Well, what you be looking at, Ego? EOG, Hano Dilly, what are you talking about? Overseas, most of the players who play overseas are players from overseas. Most of the players playing in France are French. Most of the players playing in Spain are Spanish. Most of the players playing in Germany are Germans. So, yeah, the Americans who play overseas is an exception. Most of the players playing on overseas teams are not Americans. Most of them are from whatever country you're in. Most of the people playing in Russia are Russians. So when you hear about Americans playing overseas, it's not like you go overseas and the whole team is Americans. It's not like that. There's a few Americans on each team, maybe one American. Some teams there will be no Americans. Most of the players are from that particular country. Some people don't know that, so I'm glad you said that so I can point that out. Steve says, I feel for you, bro. Hustling while playing. Also, have you created a training program? Man, I've created a lot of training programs, Steve. It depends on what kind of training you're talking about. You talking about sports training? What kind of training you asking about? But yeah, I was definitely hustling while playing. That was just the way it went. EOG says, does the blueprint explain how to hire an agent, all the things you need to do to play overseas? Of course. It's called the blueprint. So if you was building if you had a blueprint to build a house, it's going to tell you every little thing that you need to do is covered in here, the overseas basketball blueprint. Everything you need to know to start a career is in this book. Now I'm going to do more books that go into deeper dives on other subjects, but everything you need to know to get started is in this book. Trust me. And I'm going to do more books with deeper dives so I can get into more specific stuff. Like somebody could write a book about how to build a house, but then they might make a book about, or here's how to do the bathroom. They might make another one about the living room, another one about the kitchen, another one about the pool outside, another one about the landscaping. So that's what's coming next, in case anybody was wondering. So this book gives you the overall, everything you need to know to start. And then I'm going to take every little aspect of overseas and I'm going to make deeper dives on everything for people who want more information. But trust me, anything you could possibly ask about overseas, I have either already covered or I'm about to cover. Trust me, it's coming. Any question you got, get the book free. It's free. balloverseas.com. You ain't got nothing to lose. All right, we got like 5 minutes. You in high school, going to be in 11th grade, so you want to get seen to play in college? Well, number one thing I tell high school players is you just got to step your performance up. The best thing you can do is perform. When you perform, you're going to get seen. There's nothing you can do. No amount of marketing can overcome a lack of performance. So get seen by performing, number one. Number two, I would suggest you start reaching out. Get some game footage of yourself playing. Cut it up, make a nice little highlight reel that makes you look like Steph Curry. And then go find colleges that you're interested in playing at and send them an email a personalized email, a respectful personalized email with a link to your footage. That's what you should do. But you got to decide what schools you want to go to. It's thousands of colleges out here. So you got to decide what school do you want to play for and reach out to those schools specifically, and then follow up with them. Follow up with the coach or the assistant coach or something like that, and talk to them and ask them, hey, what do you think of my game? What level do you think I could play at? Are there any schools you know of that I can maybe reach out to? Be respectful. Talk to them like you're talking to them face to face. That's one of the best things I would say do. Iron Manor says soccer players can make it pro without college. Yeah, almost every sport you can. Basketball is the only one that's kind of set up like that. Basketball and football, where they're kind of forcing you to go to college. Just Dines, I played D3 college ball, Penn State Altoona. Steve says basketball program, I'm headed down to Alabama A&M in the fall playing a walk-on. So basketball, yeah, go to hoophandbook.com. Hoophandbook.com. I'll put it in the comments. This is where all my basketball training programs, anybody who didn't know, hoophandbook.com, that's where all my basketball programs, that means for actual practicing your basketball skills on the court, is at hoophandbook.com. Where's that question at? What's it like being a walk-on? I mean, you just like everybody else on the team. Same as being anybody else on the team. Just got to earn your spot. Whereas everyone else has a scholarship, so they already know they got a spot. You, as a walk-on, got to earn your spot from zero. That's the difference. So you got to go down there and show your game, just like anybody else anywhere else. You got to show your game. Did I play AAU? No, I did not play AAU. AAU wasn't as big in the 90s when I was in high school as it is now for y'all. I graduated high school in 2000, so AAU wasn't as big then as it is for y'all maybe now. Actually, it might kind of be the same. The difference is y'all know about it now because you got YouTube. We didn't have YouTube. So you didn't know what was going on in California in the 90s. You only knew what was going on where you was at, unless you were in California. I'm from Philadelphia, so all I knew was what was happening in Philadelphia. So no, I never played AAU. But if I had the opportunity, if I was to go back to high school, for example, if I had a chance to play AAU, I would have played because I get the game experience, and I might, get a dunk or something and get seen by somebody, and might give me a better opportunity. So that's just the way it goes. Money May says, what are your interests besides basketball, entrepreneurship, thought leadership, exercise, reading books? Russ says, what divisions you play in college? D3. Somebody just asked me that. D3. For those of y'all who don't know, I played D3 college ball at Penn State Altoona. I walked on. Nobody knew me. I didn't know anybody on the whole campus. I didn't know any students. I didn't know no girls, nothing. Walked on, just started playing ball, pickup at the beginning of the year. Dudes from the hoop team saw me. I was showing my game. And by the time the tryouts came around, I knew I was making the team because I had already proven I was better than some of the dudes that was already on the team. But that's how I got on. That was at Penn State Altoona. After my freshman year, I got recruited to go to a different school that was a D3. Penn State Altoona was my second school. First school was Penn State Abington. Did I say Altoona? I said Abington was my first year. But Abington at that time, you could only play 2 years of sports. Now is a D3, but back then you could only play 2 years of sports. It wasn't a JUCO, but you could only play 2 years of sports. It was a 4-year school. But then I got recruited to a D3, so it was actually a step up to go to Penn State Altoona, and that's where I graduated. I graduated from Penn State Altoona, so I got a degree in business from Penn State. And that is all covered in this book right here. You want to know the story of how I got recruited and how I walked on and what happened in college and how I ended up off the team and then how I ended up going overseas. I tell that story in this book, Work on Your Game. It's all about the philosophy of work on your game, that mindset that you use in life. This book tells you how to do it yourself. In this book, I tell you how I did it and the philosophy, the mindset part. But if you want to know the specific basketball part, is this book. So you understand exactly what I'm telling you. This book right here gives you the whole mindset framework. This book goes specifically into the discipline. I got another book on confidence. I got another one on mental toughness. This book will tell you about my overseas experience, but this book tells you specifically about the overseas experience. This is 230 pages of overseas. This is 250 pages total. So you understand, I just go deeper dives into each subject. So somebody said, can I send you a link? No, I don't watch people's videos. If that's what you ask me, I don't watch people's training videos or nothing like that. I don't do that. I'm not a basketball trainer. I made programs, and that's, if you want to learn basketball from me, I got 7,000 videos on YouTube, and I got like 200 programs at hoophandbook.com, and that's as far as I go. I am not a basketball trainer. I'm not a scout. I'm not a coach. So for anybody who is wondering that, I don't do any of those things. What I do is help people get on in the business side. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, okay? Playing basketball was one of my businesses. Now my business is helping you get yourself in the basketball world, and that's why I provide all this material. So everybody, in case y'all didn't know, I do lives every day, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. Every day, 5:15 Eastern, I'm going live. Mirrormotivation.com, the book's free, pay for the shipping. Balloverseas.com, the book's free, pay for the shipping. Y'all can see that countdown right there. It's 15 seconds out, they're about to kick me off. I'm going live every day, 5:15 p.m. Eastern, so everybody just follow me, turn on your notifications. Have a great Monday. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Work on your game.